JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Tuesday, September 16th, 9:17. On this fine morning, talk really quick about the market, some names I'm looking at, go from there. S&P futures slightly in the green here, up about 10% on the heels of yesterday's a green close with NASDAQ 9 sessions in a row to the upside, um, all-time highs again, and then the S&P 2 days in a row. But the thing about yesterday and Friday is the trading ranges, right? 0.25% trading range yesterday. It was like 0.3% on Friday. So I wouldn't say remarkable. It's just that we're at all-time highs. And if you read all the headlines, everything that's going on, you would think, wow, we're in the midst of crazy turbulence, and that's been anything but the case the last 2 days. And we'll see what happens here today. Yesterday, I was noting when I was on the Rant yesterday afternoon is the VIX, right? So the VIX was melting higher, but it's near historical lows, right? The 15 handle, that's kind of like where the market, when the market's kind of, I wouldn't call it tranquil, but no craziness. That's where the VIX traditionally trades around. Um, and then we have the Fed tomorrow. So you have to think, retail sales this morning came out better than expectations, upward revisions to the previous month's number. Gosh, I mean, it's every month the data just keeps coming out, and it's like, wait, eventually, the weary consumer is going to show up in the retail sales number. And it's going to be, oh no, the retailer, the inflation is going to show up as they run out of their inventory that they hoarded pre-tariff. And it's just like every month goes by and it's like it hasn't materialized. So the thing is, the market's a phenomenal forward-looking pricing mechanism. So it's you have to think that some of that's priced in, right? So at some point, when is the next catalyst? I don't know if it's tomorrow. To me, I keep saying, especially over the last couple of days, my concern would be if they cut rates tomorrow, and you would hope it's 0.25%, right? The jumbo rate cut opens up some uncertainty, right? There could be, I mean, we could rally 2%, right? Or people could say, oh, now we're in a point where the Fed might not be able to react if inflation continues to soar, and they just did a jumbo rate cut. So yeah, both sides of the fence there. But to me, the concern would be if they do cut rates 0.25% and then yields spike, and not just tomorrow, but Thursday and Friday, then you worry that, hey, maybe the Fed is not going to be able to get the rates down. So I always liked it that when he talked to Jackson Hole, Fed Chair Powell, he was able to kind of like talk the rates down. If you take a look at yields, they're pretty much near the April lows, and hopefully that continues. Anyways, that's kind of overall markets. We'll see if we get some chop here today. Yeah, I'm not saying I won't be open to getting puts if there's some weakness as QQ calls or even the Visa puts I was talking about. But for now, it's like I'm just going to probably sit on hands in regards to that aspect heading into tomorrow. And then if there are some opportunities, do some lot of positions like I did yesterday. So that's kind of overall market. Now, just quick on individual names. Obviously, Reddit, just nice move yesterday, up nearly 4%. It was chopping between 260 and 263 before breaking into the afternoon, hitting 265 and then closed at 263.64 here. Once it was holding 260, I looked at those 300s that I was staring at last week. Premiums looked inexpensive on a risk reward basis. And I say inexpensive, $40 out of the money with 4.5 days to expiration. Typically, I mean, you're looking for a large move, but Reddit has had that kind of like FOMO mentality where at some point FOMO is going to kick in. I think, 300, 350, 400. I've been saying that for the last at least 300. I've been saying for the last couple of months, but you have to think, at some point that kicks in. So I got those 300 strikes, and then later in the day, finally broke through. I was able to close some out to cover some of the costs, and I'll continue to hold those. I'll probably hold them even if we get some weakness here today. I was using that analogy yesterday. You take a look at Google's market cap, and it's hitting all-time highs. Every 1.6% move in Google is equivalent to one Reddit, right? So I'm not saying that Google's going to acquire Reddit. To me, it just means its valuation there's opportunity for substantial appreciation valuation. If I'm not Dr. Seuss here today, not trying to rhyme, but so that's kind of the thought process here. I'll continue to look for more opportunities to trade Reddit for upside. I think it trades north of 270 here today. We'll see. It is tight Bollinger Bands, or at least it's up at the top upper Bollinger Band, 263.78. It closed at 263.64. So hopefully get some momentum, some follow through, and then once if it starts getting some more follow through here today, one of these days it's going to have some FOMO, and then it's going to be up 10%, and up 10% the next day. All right, so that's Reddit. Lemonade, a name that's always on the watch list, still has a 28% short interest. Take a look at its chop since its earnings. all the way up to six. I think it was 60.49 at the start of August. Consolidated, back, broke under 50 for a couple days, and then it's back in rally mode. And another name, I think once it picks up some steam here, it breaks 60.49. I think new highs beget new highs. I think it heads into the mid to high 60s. I was looking for an inexpensive lotto, right? Risk reward where even uh, if it gets into the 60s, they're gonna be a double triple before Wednesday. So we'll see. Maybe today's the day. Hopefully, if not, if it finds some weakness, I'll probably just continue to hold the lottos and then maybe look for more strikes into next week. Love the lemonade story. It's one of those names like it's disrupting the insurance space, and it's like lagging all the other names that have run up in AI, right? Because that's some of the premise, or at least the bull case on Lemonade, is that AI is going to disrupt the insurance sector, and that's Lemonade's front and center in that. We'll see what happens there. All right, so that's Lemonade. Just other names here. GameStop. So I think it's 7 days in a row to the upside. My calls are in the green. I was talking about it on the Rant yesterday. It's tough to find more strikes to add, so I'll just continue to hold my 30 strikes. Uh, Take a look. 200-day moving average 255, 25.99. It gets over that today. Start to get some blue skies here. Again, just interesting story. I mean, the bear case on GameStop before was that it was a dying brand. At some point, I wouldn't say bankruptcy, but closing stores, locations, and now it's going to have $8 billion in cash. It's actually profitable, right? It makes a ton of money just on interest payments on its cash hoard, and then its collectors business is growing. So now it's almost like this could be like a somewhat of a growth story. Crazy as it sounds, and that's why it's shocking to me it still trades down here. All right, so that's GameStop. And then the other names, Serve Robotics, disappointing. Still up for the fourth session in a row. Would love to see it back over 13 bucks. Still being patient, adding more strikes here. I'll probably wait till Friday. I still have some September 15 strikes. So you never know. It's had some huge swings before. IIPR pretty much flat again, struggling to break that 57.50. At some point, I'll lock the rest of the October strikes in and then look for later dated strikes. Duolingo, so dual cons today was down 7% yesterday. No news, no catalyst. I just, maybe, two sides, right? Maybe it's an opportunity, right? For some calls. The 320s are still expensive, $50 out of the money with 4 days at expiration. But if there's any positive updates, uh, any commentary on there, I think it could be a catalyst for some upside. So I'll continue to watch that one. But if I do add some strikes, a very small position because it's one of those names. It could be down. It was down 7% on no news. It could be the start of another break to new lows. So don't want to be catching a falling knife with a large position. So if I do add some strikes, I'll keep it small. I'm trying to think of some of the other names. I think that's it for now. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.